Happening now, vaccinations top 20,000 here in Chautauqua County. Plus, why one local senator says the state's vaccine rollout is unfair to rural New Yorkers.
Oh, it is a gorgeous day out there with lots of sunshine and warmer temperatures, but how long is it going to stick around? I'll tell you about it in detail next. The news at noon starts right now.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
And thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Justin Gould. The number of Chautauqua County residents vaccinated against COVID-19 has topped 20,000. The County Health Department's COVID-19 dashboard announced the new data saying 15% of residents have received their first dose of either the Pfizer or Moderna shot. More than 9,700 have received their second or a dose of Johnson & Johnson's single shot, making up 7% of the total population. Locally, the County Health Department has held several COVID-19 vaccination clinics for residents with comorbidities or those 65 and older at sites like SUNY JCC's gymnasium. Starting today, those 60 and older are now among New Yorkers eligible to get the vaccine, according to New York State Governor Andrew Cuomo, who says the shot is our way forward.
And then let's get back to work. Let's rebuild this economy. Let's rebuild this state. Let's get our lives back to normal. Let's get children back in school. Let's get paychecks back in homes. Let's get normal society functioning again. This vaccine is the ticket. We just have to make it happen.
It's still difficult to book an appointment, though. Those 60 and older are encouraged to seek appointments at their local pharmacy or sign up at a state or county-run vaccination clinic by visiting the Am I Eligible site or chq.gov. Now, as for COVID-19 activity, the numbers remain relatively low, with around 20 new cases reported per day over the last week. For the first time since October, the number of active COVID-19 cases in nearby Cattaraugus County has dropped below 100. The Cattaraugus County Health Department saying there are now 94 active cases countywide with a 7-day average infection rate of just 1.8%. Well, a local state senator is calling out disproportionate COVID-19 vaccine availability in rural parts of New York. New York State Senator George Borrello wants Governor Andrew Cuomo and the state health department to establish additional vaccination clinics to serve Allegheny, Cattaraugus, and Chautauqua counties. Borrello is speaking out after more people from Erie County than Allegheny were vaccinated at the state's temporary mass vax site at SUNY JCC's Olean campus over the weekend. In a statement this morning, Borrello believes the state needs of rural communities are being ignored by Governor Andrew Cuomo's administration. The senator says registration for vaccination appointments was a free-for-all because the state did not restrict to just local residents. He says New Yorkers drove all the way from Dutchess and Delaware counties to receive the shot. Well, for many, spring break is a time to relax, maybe take a little vacation, but this year there's still continued concerns about COVID and how the break could cause another surge in activity. Mandy Gaither with more from the CDC about what they have to say about spring break this year.
After a year of being cooped up, many may be eager to seek solace in a spring break trip. It's exactly what some officials and public health experts are concerned about.
We are very worried that there's going to be a convergence of people here and a real problem in the aftermath.
In favorite destinations like Miami Beach, cheap flights and discounted hotel rooms are making the area even more appealing despite the pandemic, forcing some leaders to brace for what may come.
It's really the bars and those other kinds of gatherings that might become the kinds of super spreaders that I think we saw a year ago.
The CDC has made its position clear.
Avoid travel, crowds, and poorly ventilated spaces.
The agency says travel increases your chance of getting and spreading COVID-19 and recommends staying home to stay safe. If you must travel, the CDC says to get vaccinated if eligible and wait 2 weeks after a second dose. Get a viral COVID test, 1 to 3 days before travel and keep a copy of those test results with you in case it's needed. Don't travel if you test positive for COVID-19. Check travel restrictions before you go and continue to take the same health measures. Wear a mask, avoid crowds, stay at least 6 feet away from others, and wash your hands. For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Mandy, thank you. The CDC discussed loosening travel recommendations in its guidance for fully vaccinated Americans this week, but decided against it. Health experts suggest this could change as more people become fully vaccinated. Well, another person has come forward accusing Governor Andrew Cuomo of inappropriate touching. According to a report in the Albany Times-Union, the woman told a supervisor that Cuomo inappropriately touched her while she worked at the governor's mansion late last year. Her identity was withheld. However, the paper reports she's a member of the executive chamber staff. The newspaper says the governor's office learned of that allegation over the weekend. Acting Counsel Beth Garvey telling the Times-Union all allegations are going promptly to the investigators appointed by the Attorney General. 5 other women have come forward in recent weeks to accuse the governor of sexual harassment or inappropriate conduct. Well, we thank you for joining us for WNY News Now as we get a check of some headlines this hour. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. Great to see Butch. Good to see Joseph, Bill, Rita, Pam, Dave, and Diane as well. Hopefully we're all having a good day and enjoying the beautiful weather that's outside. Let's get to Chief Forecaster Dakota Hunter with more on that forecast. And I'm loving these live images, Dakota, because it really looks like spring.
Yes, it does. It looks like spring has finally sprung across the area. This is a live look over Findlay Lake, and man, you can see the nice blue sky out there, just a few of those high clouds. 57 is the current temperature at Findlay Lake right now, and the satellite and radar imagery shows you, yeah, look at that. You can see a few of those high clouds showing up on the satellite imagery. Otherwise, that's it today. Now, clouds are going to be advancing later on in the afternoon in advance of this, our next storm system that comes our way tomorrow. That'll throw some rain showers our way. We'll talk about that a little bit later on, and we'll time it out with the model data. 49 was the official high here in town yesterday. It felt great. We bottomed out at 39 degrees this morning. 73 is the record high for today. I don't think we're going to break it, but we are going to get close to that record high territory, though. And just to show you here, 73 today, and tomorrow's record is 67, set back in 1927. Again, I don't think we'll break either record, but it's going to get close, and you'll see it here. Enjoy. You're welcome. That's all I could write on the forecast panel. It becomes breezy today. 56 on the highest hills, 67 in the deepest valleys. Some may actually go up to 70 well inland away from the lake breeze, with a south wind 10 to 25 miles per hour.
And sometimes you just got to look at it.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right. So while I get new glasses, I will tell you about that 42 degrees and sunny 7-day forecast later in the show, Justin.
All right, Dakota, thank you. I imagine it's probably easier to read when the monitor's in front of you like it is on the wall and not necessarily behind you. But nevertheless, we'll take the beautiful day. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, the city of Jamestown is slated to receive nearly $30 million in federal aid. Money U.S. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand says will be used to help bring needed relief to the municipality. Gillibrand spoke during a virtual press conference yesterday, saying the $1.9 trillion American Rescue Plan includes $12.6 billion to local governments across the state. She says cities like Jamestown need the funding to help offset budgets that were decimated by the pandemic.
Without a normal budget, they can't meet the basic needs of the state. And so I'm hoping that these resources specifically help to continue to fund our frontline workers, help the social safety net programs that are the last things to fund, and begin to restore some balance to the economy.
Now at the county level, Chautauqua County expected to receive $24 million. In other parts of this county, the city of Dunkirk will likely receive $12 million. Nearby Cattaraugus County is slated to get more than $14 million in aid. Well, this week, President Biden is expected to sign the relief bill into law. The White House saying stimulus checks will start arriving sometime this month, with electronic payments hitting bank accounts first. So what else does the bill do for everyday Americans? Daryl Forges takes a closer look.
This is the most significant legislation for working people that has been passed in decades.
The big question for Americans is, what's in the historic bill and how will it affect you?
This plan will get checks out the door starting this month to the American people who so desperately need the help.
The relief bill consists of $1,400 direct checks for individual Americans making less than $75,000 a year and married couples making less than $150,000 a year, $300 a week unemployment assistance, assistance for small businesses, funding for state and local governments, schools, and vaccines.
It obviously wasn't easy. It wasn't always pretty, but it was so desperately needed.
The Senate passed their version of the colossal bill along party lines over the weekend. Conservatives say the bill is way too expensive.
This was a liberal wish list of liberal spending, just basically filled with pork.
I'm Daryl Forges reporting.
Daryl, thank you. The plan is mainly geared toward middle and low-income working Americans, which also includes an increase in the child tax credits to $3,000 or more a year. Next here, a lot more to tell you about. More on a new law that prevents evictions and foreclosures of businesses here in New York. And later, Dakota's back with a full look at our weather forecast. How much warmer will we get? Stay with us as WNY News Now continues.
With coverage that matters. This is WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvanna Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
Honest John's has what you're looking for. When you want it good, we're gonna give you lots more.
From freshly made subs to the best of pizza and wings, Honest John's has what you're looking for. And now 2 great locations, East 2nd Street and Fairmount Avenue. Order takeout or delivery today online at honestjohns.pizza.
You're gonna get it good at Honest John's.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
A 23-year-old woman was revived by first responders in Chautauqua County following an overdose yesterday. The Chautauqua County Sheriff's Office says the woman, who was not identified, overdosed at an address on Main Street in Silver Creek. When deputies arrived on scene, several bystanders were trying to resuscitate her. Deputies administered an initial dose of Narcan before Chautauqua County EMS arrived. With assistance from the Silver Creek Fire Department and Seneca EMS, an additional dose of Narcan was given, stabilizing the woman. Deputies say she was taken to an area hospital for further care. Well, a new bill that protects small businesses from evictions and foreclosures has been signed into law. Known as the COVID-19 Emergency Protect Our Small Business Act of 2021, the legislation will initially apply to small businesses with under 50 employees that demonstrate a financial hardship caused by the pandemic, as well as small businesses with either 10 or less units. It will also cover any business with 500 or fewer employees that was closed to in-person operations for 2 or more weeks between May 15, 2020 and May 1st of this year. The legislation not only protects business owners from eviction, but protects landlords suffering from financial hardship from having their properties foreclosed. The protections build off the governor's previous executive order and commercial eviction and foreclosure moratorium. Well, the critical screening of potential jurors in the high-profile trial of Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer charged with George Floyd's death, is moving full steam ahead this afternoon. Camila Burnell is in Minneapolis with the latest on the process.
You have been summoned, as you know, as potential jurors in the case of State of Minnesota versus Derek Chauvin, which is a criminal case related to the death of George Floyd
Potential jurors questioned by the court, the state, and the defense.
Can you be fair to both sides and set aside any opinions?
Yes. So far, 3 jurors have been selected. 2 males that appear to be white in their 20s or 30s, and a woman who appears to be biracial in her 20s or 30s.
Moving on the street.
Awesome. In the meantime, you're not an investigator. Do not go out looking. Do not avoid all media to the extent you can. And then we'll see you back here.
Some potential jurors saying they're hesitant to be involved.
I read in the article, or the information you sent us, that jurors' names will be publicized after the case is done.
At some point, yes.
I felt, well, if our names are publicized, could we become potential targets for certain organizations?
And some dismissed, admitting they already have personal opinions on the case.
You would have an opinion about any witnesses that the defense might call, especially if they're police officers.
Yeah. I'm going to excuse you from this panel. I think there might be better juries for you to sit on than going to a case of this magnitude.
In Minneapolis, I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Camila, thank you. Well, the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History is collecting items connected to the first known doses of the COVID-19 vaccine here in the U.S. An intensive care nurse in New York named Sandra Lindsay was the first person to have received the vaccine. Her employer, Northwell Health, donated Lindsay's vaccination record card, scrubs, and hospital identification badge to the museum for a new exhibit. Northwell also donated the empty Pfizer BioNTech vial that contained the first doses of the approved vaccine dispersed in the U.S. Other items, such as a specialized vaccine shipper that monitors and maintains temperature, were also acquired by the museum. The Smithsonian is still collecting items to help illustrate life during the pandemic as well. The public can share their stories, pictures, and videos on the institution's online portal through April. Certainly a lot to look back on, as this week we remember the first official declaration of emergencies around the nation as we were undergoing COVID-19. And I think a really important note when you look back on it is that a lot of people didn't know what was coming. So certainly here we are a year later. Thanks for joining us for WNY News Now. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. And Dakota, over the weekend, I shared on my personal social media page a video clip from our show a year ago Friday that we were kind of jokingly passing hand sanitizer.
Yeah.
And at the time, we had no idea what was happening. It was in response to somebody's comment saying, don't forget to hand sanitize. And I think to myself now, I'm looking back, it's crazy to think about that we had guests in the studio like normal. I remember PJ Wendell was one of them that I had, and we didn't know, 2 feet away from me, no mask, no nothing. Yeah. And I always will remember the state of emergency press conference that Chautauqua County held that would be coming up, I think, in 2 Sundays. It was the week before New York went on pause.
Yeah. And
we were summoned to Mayville Sunday afternoon. I had to change out of my sweatpants. Jokingly, I was like, they're going to make me change, But it was a big deal and it's really important to get the information to people. And we went there, shoved into a tiny little room with cameras and photographers from all over Western New York. And I'm thinking to myself now, I'm like, looking back on it, wow, how that was really, I think, the big turning point to the shutdown. And eventually, here we are now where we're trying to reopen and get back to some sort of what life, and you think about it, it almost seems like, and you either agree or disagree, I want to know your opinion on this, everybody's, but I feel like we're going to judge life pre-COVID, during COVID, and after COVID.
I mean, we do the same thing in weather because, what we do in weather is when we have a big weather event, say a big tornado outbreak, take 2011, for example, one of the most active weather years since the decade of the 70s.
Yeah.
We had lots of severe weather during 2011, not just here locally, but across the entire U.S. And we look at that and go, okay, what did we do good during that, during the coverage of those storms, and what did we do that's not so good. And basically 2011 was the year that we realized, those of us in the weather business, we're not as good as we think we are, and we still have a lot that we need to learn.
And I think that's what people will take away with this, is there's a lot of things that I think we're going to change through the pandemic, but at the same time, going forward,
unfortunately,
there were good things.
Yeah,
that came out of it,
unfortunately, it takes things like this to change things. That's the sad reality. Is it takes something like a pandemic or a big severe weather event to change the mindset or to change things looking forward.
Right. One thing we don't want to change is the weather forecast today. If you could just carbon copy today, I'd be really happy, because
Command C, Command V.
And warmth out there.
Yes, it is. So the warmer spot today is going to be in the valley location. So why is that? Well, it has to do with how the air comes down in the hills. So basically today, what's going to be happening is the coldest air is going to be sitting on the hills top. So about 2,400 feet is the highest elevation across the southern tier. Bonus points if you know where that 2,400 feet is. It's actually not in Chautauqua County. It's in Cattaraugus County. That's the highest point of the southern tier. So the hills will stay cooler, but that air rushes down into the valleys where it ultimately warms up. And where you get into the deepest low-lying valleys, you could have a shot at 70 degrees today. So I wouldn't necessarily rule that out. So it is going to be a fantastic day. HD News Now cam shows you a lot of sunshine downtown. We're at 59, so close to 60. I guarantee you probably by 1 o'clock we're going to be at 60 or 61 officially at the airport. A little bit breezy, southwest wind at 14. We have a wind gust of 22. So all in all, it's not too bad out there today. It is going to be one of the best days we've had so far this year. But like clockwork, we spring forward, we fall back. 65 today is our forecast high, 63 tomorrow, around 50 on Friday. Then look at the temperatures go down over the weekend. So I'm sorry, but the good news is this little 30 stuff is only short-lived. It's only going to be hanging around for the weekend, and we should be back into the 40s as we go into next week. Just a few of those high clouds showing up on the satellite and radar imagery. This is what we're watching for tomorrow. We have a warm front that's about to push through. This is what's going to warm up temperatures. High pressure out ahead of that warm front. This is the next storm system that comes tomorrow, and that's going to produce some on-again, off-again rain showers. So future scan paints you the idea of a few of those sun and clouds through the afternoon. Now, this evening should be dry, but as we go into the overnight, rain showers will be coming in with the advance of that front, and then you'll see a better chance for on-again, off-again rain showers through the day today. Nothing widespread. As we go into Thursday night, there could be a few patches of moderate to heavy rain and maybe even a few rumbles of thunder. Wouldn't necessarily rule that out. Again, best chance for that thunder is probably going to be near the state line further to the south. And as we head into Sunday, don't forget daylight saving time begins. So if you have an old-fashioned clock, make sure you set it forward 1 hour before you go to bed on Saturday night. Change your batteries in your smoke detector and the NOAA weather radios. And if you don't know what a NOAA weather radio is, it's one of these. Everybody needs to have one of these things. We'll talk more about these as we get into a severe weather season. So the zone forecast, inland areas today, most of you will likely see lower 60s across the area. Again, the valley locations will likely be the warmest spot. How about the future? Next 7 days coming up right now, brought to you by 42 degrees and sunny, 63 tomorrow, on again, off again showers, sunshine Friday, 50, much cooler on Saturday, but at least we should stay dry with high pressure through much of early next week. And then we may get a chance for a few rain and snow showers next Tuesday with temperatures around where they should be for this time of the year. We'll take a break and be right back. First Defense Weather is sponsored by 42 Degrees and Sunny, smoking deals on smoking accessories. Learn more at 42degreesandsunny.com. That's 42degreesandsunny.com.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. It's not just what we say, it's what we do.
Local first. It isn't just our slogan. It's our mindset every single day. So whether you're watching our daily live streams or staying up to date with reports on our website and mobile app, you'll always see the same attention to detail from reporters who passionately care about our community, who have one goal in mind: to always put the facts first.
For me, it's more than just getting the forecast right. What I love the most about my job is that I come into work every day to help break down the weather, letting people know how this is going to impact their day. We take pride that First Defense Weather is the only local weather team in the southern tier. We don't just copy and paste our weather from outside sources. Every part of our forecast is handmade right here in-house, something our team really takes pride in.
What matters to you matters to us. Every story, every day. WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor. I'm a survivor.
Testicular cancer is the leading form of cancer in men aged 15 to 35.
1 in 250 men will be diagnosed with testicular cancer.
But 98% will survive if detected early.
As a survivor, I believe early detection is the key. Learn how to do a testicular self-exam and other important facts about testicular cancer at oneball4tc.com.
With coverage that matters, this is WNY News Now.
And welcome back to WNY News Now. The White House confirming one of the Biden family dogs bit someone, but denies he's in exile. Jenny Mose with more on how major Biden is now and the misbehavior of a former first dog.
First he's in the White House, now he's in the doghouse, the subject of biting questions.
And did he bite somebody?
And personality analysis.
A bit on the wild side, that he barks, that he's been known to charge.
And now the White House has confirmed.
On Monday, the first family's younger dog, Major, was surprised by an unfamiliar person and reacted in a way that resulted in a minor injury to the individual, which was handled by the White House medical unit.
3-year-old Major bit a security person? Biden's dog, not such a good boy after all. Twitter rushed to defend him. I hope that you know you're still a very good boy, even though you made a mistake. Both Major, acquired from his shelter, and the much older Champ were sent back to the Bidens' home in Delaware, but the White House insisted that was pre-planned because Jill Biden was on the road. The First Lady said recently,
I've been obsessed with getting our dog settled.
Lots of new people and stuff at the White House to agitate a young dog.
They have to take the elevator. They're not used to that. They have to go out on the South Lawn with lots of people watching them.
And so much attention.
Another dog's question, okay.
It was a doozy asked by the New York Post.
Can you also reassure the public that Major Biden will not be euthanized as a result of this?
Well, certainly Major Biden is a member of the family, so I can assure you that.
She said the dogs will be back at the White House soon. Remember when President George W. Bush's dog Barney bit a reporter?
Ooh! Did it get you? I got bit by Barney.
The president's daughter Jenna later said,
Barney was a real jerk.
Wow!
Instead of calling Major a jerk, fans are tweeting, "Free Major," even if he did mistake a person for a chew toy or a tennis ball. He's still got his master's ear. Jenny Mose, New York.
All right, Ginny, thank you. The White House press secretary did not say when exactly the dog might return, only Dakota that he will be back soon.
He's on, what do they call it? Unpaid administrative leave.
Yes, as they look into it further.
Yeah.
You know, I'm glad nobody got seriously hurt. I guess if anybody can take a positive light out of this, I think it is educating people that as you move dogs into stressful situations, things can go astray. And that was the biggest thing yesterday. I was listening to this story, and they had a dog trainer on, and he was explaining that the best thing to do is training. And as the report indicated, I imagine the White House probably one of the more stressful places because you go out to go to the bathroom in the dog's case, and there's people looking, cameras clicking, cars driving by, sirens.
Yep.
It's certainly a change, I'm sure.
Yeah. And then plus you also have to remember too, even though dogs are it's the same way with cats, even though they are domestic animals,
right.
Their family is still from, wild, the wild animal side of wolves.
And that's how they communicate. They communicate with their mouth. It's like people who don't like to get licked by dogs. I know it's like oh, that's gross. Well, that's how they're telling you they love you. And it's the same thing when they get a little mouthy, whether it be vocal through a bark or, sometimes just showing their teeth. It's stay back. And that's the thing. But he's passed away now, but my previous childhood dog, Jack, he would do that. He'd show you his teeth and he'd say, leave me alone. Never would he bite, but he'd always show his teeth to tell you. That's how they communicate. Great to see Scott. Good to see Ann and Barbara as well. Let us know what you think about these stories and more in the comments down below. Real quick, Dee, let's get a final peek at that forecast because I know it's warm today, warm tomorrow, but a little rainy.
Yes, we've got some rain coming in tomorrow on that 42 degrees and sunny 7-day. Friday, not so bad, 50. Make sure you set the clocks forward 1 hour as you go to bed on Saturday night if you still have old-fashioned clocks. The temperatures moderate as we go into next week, but at least we should stay dry through the weekend, Justin.
All right, Dakota, thanks. We're back tomorrow. Have a great day.